Welcome back to the homestead. It is early this morning. It's about 6:15, and I'm all ready to go to work. But I wanted to come out and give you guys an update on the garden, some of the things we've done to help with our heat, because we have had, I don't know, probably 90% of this month so far has been in 100 degrees. So we've had like 15 of the 18 days of this month of July that have been over 100 degrees. Today is supposed to be 109 here at our property. That's really hot, and the plants are struggling. Our garden is not doing as well this year as it did last year. Part of that is because of the weather. Part of that is because we didn't get a late freeze like we had the last few years, and so our pests are higher. But we have some things that are doing really well, and I just wanted to give you guys an update on the garden and share it with you and show you some of the things that we're doing to try to keep our garden alive and producing, although it's not producing a whole lot at the moment. One of the reasons it's not is that I planted later this year than I did last year, because last year we had that late freeze, and the year before we had a late freeze. So I waited to plant till after I felt like it wasn't going to freeze. So my plants were already a little behind schedule anyway. And then it went from, 85 degree days to 100 degree days. There was no in between. It just happened that way. So we are fighting lots of bugs that we have not seen here before. Now, this is only our second year in this garden, so that's not saying a whole lot, I guess, in some ways. And we've put some things into action to try to save some of our plants and hopefully get some produce out of the garden this year. It is 75 degrees right now, and it's about 6:20 in the morning. When I get home today, it'll be about 105, 106. So that's kind of crazy, and it's not supposed to stop. We're supposed to stay in the 100 degree days through the end of July, and they're saying we may get a couple of days in the 90s in August, but the first 2.5, 3 weeks of August are also supposed to be in the 100s. So this is not going to be a short-term thing. I'm sure that we are breaking records left and right. I don't watch local news. I just keep track of it on my phone. So let's talk about some of the things we're doing to help keep our garden going. First and foremost, we are watering every day, which we normally wouldn't do, but we are right now because we need to. Second thing is we did put mulch. We put straw down in all our raised beds, on the sorghum bed, on what was the potato bed. Now it just has some acorn squash and some leeks going in there. Everything has straw on it to help keep the moisture in. The straw bales are actually doing pretty well with the heat. Probably I'm watering them a little more than I normally would, just to make sure there's plenty of moisture staying in them. The second thing we're doing, or the third thing besides mulch and watering every day, is for our tomatoes and our green beans, which are seriously struggling. I've not gotten a tomato yet. Y'all, it's mid-July, and I have not gotten a tomato. So they're just all curled up. So this is what we've done to help save our tomatoes, hopefully, and our beans, our green beans. We've covered them. We have provided them shade. We just decided the other day that we needed to do something, and this is what we've done. So as you can see, the sun is still coming up over the trees there this morning. So we've mostly protected them from the late day sun, but we've also protected them from some of the midday sun. Like, they'll get a little bit of morning sun, and then the afternoon sun is what we're really trying to keep them from having trouble with. But good morning, Freelo baby. As you can see, the tomato leaves are just all curled. Now, I will tell you that they are not as leathery now as they were before we put the covers on. And if you get up to the top, you can see that they're not curled as bad as those on the bottom. I have plenty of blooms, y'all. I've had lots and lots of blooms but no tomatoes. The blooms have just shriveled up because it's just been so hot. But I'm hoping that by covering them from the sun, we can keep them going and maybe get some late tomatoes. Of course, you know, basil's doing great because basil doesn't care. We also have talked about the fact that we haven't seen as many pollinators this year. So I've been working on trying to shake some of these. So maybe they will pollinate themselves. The only pollinators we have seen so far this year are bumblebees, and they've been doing a great job. But they're not doing what bumblebees will usually do. So these are our beans, and this is what we're getting now. These beans all came in late on this side of the bed. So I think we talked about this before. It's basically succession planting, which means that in this case, hopefully once the weather breaks, these beans will start really producing, and we will still get green beans. But these are the beans we're getting right now because of this heat, and that's about all we get. I've picked maybe 6 beans off these plants total. They're just very skinny and very thin, and they're just not doing what they normally would do because it's just so hot. Now, the okra is doing well. It's finally starting to come in. We are getting okra. These are the Star of David right there. I'll probably pick some this morning and take them in the house. And then these are the Hill Country, and they are producing as well. They also do kind of a short, stubby okra. And then on the other side is Clemson Spineless. I had trouble getting those started, but they are finally coming up, and we've gotten a couple off of those plants. I've gotten several okra already, but that's about the only thing we've gotten. Oh, that and yellow lemon squash. So this is our lemon squash plant, and it's doing really well. It's full of blooms, and I've picked several fruit off here. There's a couple right there that are coming in. The straw bales, beginning of the season, these are patty pans. Oh, don't go away, Mr. Spider. I wanted to show you off. I have a little green spider that's living on this patty pan plant. He's really cool. These guys struggled in the beginning, you can see, and I thought I was going to lose them. This one finally has really started to come back, and I think we're actually going to get some patty pans. We have some eggplants coming on. Again, some of these plants are doing well, and some of them are really struggling. My yellow squash is doing well. We've been hand picking squash bugs, and I've been injecting BT for the vine borers that we've had. So we are fighting for that. I'll show you the really worst one here in a minute. We do have a little eggplant. I'm so excited. This particular plant has done really well. Its partner next door has done pretty good too, but they're still struggling with the heat. This is our poor one and only zucchini plant. I'm glad to see the mushrooms growing up around it. But you can see the damage the vine borer did here. That's the stem, y'all. All of this is the stem. I can actually stick my finger down in here because that's how much damage the vine borer did. Now it's trying to come back. Plants want to survive. They'll do just about anything they can to survive. This is coming off right at the bottom of this stem. I'll leave it. These leaves are finally starting to come out looking somewhat normal, but at first they were very knotted up, and I'm hoping that we might get some more off of here. But this baby has had squash bugs galore. It has had the vine borers first. which is how I then learned how to inject BT to try to save it. I just gone back and forth about where to pull it out and just stop watering it. But then it started sprouting again on the bottom, and I thought, you know what, let's give it a chance. So another yellow squash on this side. Bell peppers are starting to, our jalapenos are starting to get some blooms on them. So, these two little guys right here got eaten down to literally almost nothing and have sprouted back. So I'm really happy about that. They're the Ajvarski peppers. They're a red bell pepper. So I've lost a couple other peppers here. I lost one of my bananas. I lost both my jalapenos. But these are, let's see, Ajvarski, California bananas, and then I lost a California. These are California Wonders right here. The watermelons are doing really well though, because again, they're getting watered every day. We have a lot of watermelons coming on. So this patch is looking pretty good, but we are having to baby everything. Everything. Do have some cucumbers coming on. In fact, I have one I'm going to pick this morning that is hanging right here. Can you see that? I'm not picking that one this morning. There's another one in here that I'm picking this morning. Our cucamelons, the vines have gone crazy, as you can see. Like they're all up the fence. But I have yet to get a cucamelon off this thing. So we'll see how this goes. If it doesn't start, and again, I know it's a hot year, and it's, you know, the weather has been just so different this year than previous years. And so I might plant them again if they finally produce, but at the moment they're not producing anything. So it's kind of hard to keep watering it sometimes. You know, we live off rainwater, and so we have to be careful how we use our water. We think about how much water we use and where we use it and what the priorities are. So we have shut off some of the drip tape to some of the areas of the beds that we just don't have anything in anymore. So that saves us a little bit of water. In the tomato bed, we're just watering the tomatoes. We're not watering anything else. I have some other things that we started to plant there, but just watering the tomatoes. They're getting a full 5 gallons of water every day. But that's just what you do. You have to make decisions. You have to decide what's best for your garden, what works for you, what your priorities are here. So right now, my priorities are to get some tomatoes and some green beans. Okra's coming in. My herb gardens are doing pretty well. I'm letting the peas that I planted dry on the plant so that I can save those seeds. But the lemongrass, the rosemary, it's all coming in really well. But even the lemongrass and the okra, so the lemongrass and the okra have been droopy at the end of the day when we come out to water. So, but the rosemary's doing well. This is oregano. German oregano, is that what that says? Greek oregano. It's struggling a little bit. It used to be all just full and green. Now the center is starting to die back a little bit, but that's okay. It's still making it. One of the things I'm really excited about is my stevia plants. They are still doing well. They're not getting super huge, but they are getting somewhere. So, and then my zinnias. These have been such a joy to come in and see in the mornings and in the evenings. So this is my favorite. I don't know how well this is going to show, but can you see the color? It's yellow with the red stripes, and it's beautiful. But you notice this one stays kind of flat. This one grew nice and tall. It grew petals all up the side. So it's really pretty too. And then we have this bright pink one that's just, I love the color. And the passion flower is still doing well. It's still blooming. And it is, I don't know if you can see the bloom right there. So it's still blooming. And we have fruit all the way up over our heads. I don't know if you can see the fruits. and it is gone over half of the tunnel. And it's going to be joining the peas pretty soon. Oh look, isn't that beautiful, guys? Look at that. Sun coming up over our property. So that's about it, guys. I think I'm going to start right here at the beginning of the garden where I started. I'm going to stop. And I hope you guys have a very wonderful, nice and cool, air-conditioned day. Just for those of you who wonder about staying cool in this heat, because we are solar and our solar power will, at this point, will not run our air conditioner. We are sleeping in a tent outside at night because it's cooler and we can run a fan and we're good. Because the house just doesn't get the circulation that being outside does. And come on, Groot, are you out? Okay. So we are staying cool by sleeping in a tent at night. Other than that, we're good and we haven't changed much. We work early in the mornings like this, and then we work in the evenings when the sun's. We don't start watering our garden until it's all in the shade. Once the whole thing is in the shade, we know it's cool enough to come down here and start watering. And we water everything every day right now. All the tank beds, the watermelons, all the raised beds, all the in-ground beds, everything gets watered every day right now because it is so hot. I can remember in Texas, I believe it was 83. It was a very, very, very hot summer. Like we had a day, weeks at a time, 100-degree weather. It broke all the records. I think this year is going to break all those records because I know we're hot here in southeast Oklahoma. It is hotter in parts of Texas. So, I feel for those of you that are struggling with the heat because I struggle with the heat. Sorry. Stop it, Groot. I struggle with the heat. So, but you actually acclimate to it. Somebody asked me yesterday about how do you do it without any air conditioning? You get used to it. Just like you get used to living in a cold place, you get used to living in a warm place. It's not always enjoyable, but you adjust to it, your body gets used to it, and you learn tips and tricks of things to do to keep yourself cool. Like working only when it's cool outside, not being out in the sun all day, those kinds of things. Well, thanks guys for joining me this morning on this cool 75-degree morning. It will be 109 this evening. And hopefully, again, y'all are all safe, staying cool, and hopefully your gardens are doing well. And we will talk to y'all later. Love y'all. God bless. Bye.